Three, two, one, and welcome, guys. We haven't really confirmed a final name for this podcast yet, but I put up on the All Star Comics and Movies channels the Fantastic Chats, which is, I guess, temporarily what we're going to call the name of this podcast. My name is Neophant, and with me, as always, is my podcasting partner, AngryBlackManta.
I am so excited for this. I have been waiting for literally over a year to do this, and it's finally here.
And we've also got two other co-hosts who have joined us. First, we've got Raquel.
Hi.
Hi.
I am new, obviously. You guys knew that.
And you weren't in our introductory podcast from last week, so hopefully you'll be able to join us, and I don't know, just keep us excited for what comes next.
Hopefully, yeah.
And of course, we have Rayven.
Afternoon.
Hey, so today we're going to be
Yes,
talking
I'm
about.
not new, but I'm still British.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got some cred.
Some legitimacy in this here group. So today we're going to be talking about our introduction to the Harry Potter universe, and the first question I wanted to ask you guys was, when did you start reading the books, and which book did you start reading at, or what book had come out by the time you were actually into the franchise? And I'll go first really quickly. The story of how I got into the Harry Potter franchise was that I had gone on a family vacation to the States, and my aunt, who lived there, gave me copies of books 1 and 2 to read. So I completely devoured them, and by the time I had come home, at the airport, book 3 had just came out. So I had asked my mom to buy me book 3, and from then on, I was pretty much like a lifelong Harry Potter fan.
Dang. I think for me, I remember my sister reading the first one, we were just reading together. I guess she really wanted to read it for me, or just read it with me, I guess, because I was old enough to, read by myself. I think I was about 9 years old, but yeah, I just remember reading the first page, the Perfect Drive, and I think it was about a year after that I picked up the first book for myself, and I think it was about the same time that the third book was coming out as well. But yeah, just after that, I just read the books as they came out and didn't pick them up again until I was about about 2 years ago, and now I read them like twice a year.
How about yourself, Raquel?
So I was born the same year that the first book came out, so I didn't get into it properly until, I don't know, maybe age 6 or 7. So I think by then the first 5 were out. But then I remember coming downstairs while my parents were watching the first movie to make sure it was okay for me and my brother to consume this media. And then from there, I think I read the book before the movie, and then I was a massive bookworm as a kid. I'm still a massive bookworm now, but I just read and read and read, and then got Half-Blood Prince when it came out, and then we got 2 copies of Deathly Hallows when it came out because me and my brother wanted to read it at the same time, but we didn't want to. We just needed 2, and yeah.
And I got into the books quite late, and by quite late I mean about 2 years ago, and that has a bit of a story behind it if you guys want to hear it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, when the first books first came out, I was 12, I had brown hair, round glasses, and a forehead scar. And I just started high school, so you can imagine how well that went for me. So I grew up kind of hating the series because I got bullied hard for it, and to this day I still respond to the name Harry. When somebody shouts out, I will look up as if they're talking to me. And then growing up, I'd watch the films when they came out, every now and then, but, I first thought they were alright, but weren't a massive fan. And then, years down the line, 2 years ago, is when I actually first sat down and read all the books.
Do you still read the books, up to this day, in terms of rereading them, Rayven?
I've read them about 2 or 3 times, and I don't really need to reread them because I'm a good reader like that. But I spent a lot of time reading fan fiction.
That's pretty interesting. Well, go get on to our to the second question I wanted to ask you guys. What was your favorite book growing up? What was the first Harry Potter book that really gripped you, that you have fond memories of actually reading, and you thought would have made like the best story overall when it got adapted into the movie? For myself, I know this might surprise you guys, but my favorite book has always been number four, Goblet of Fire. And part of me is kind of biased because that was the first book that I actually, one of the first books that I had saved up money for as a kid and went to like the bookstore like at a midnight opening type thing to actually pick up.
Nerd.
But that's exactly what I had done actually for all the other books actually since
Wow.
Goblet of Fire. But for some reason I really loved that whole like the Triwizard Tournament and how there were like different tests that each of the contestants had to do, and it had like this competition thing, and then it turned into something really dark by the end. And I thought it was a really cool turning point, like kind of in the middle of the series from the not necessarily lighthearted antics, but the more like fantastical, whimsical stylings of the adventure to something much more serious and something much more foreboding.
Yeah, I think mine was also my favorite was, I think I remember, it was between book 3 and 4, because I was a big Animorphs fan, as a kid. I still have all the books. If you don't know what Animorphs is, it's, a bunch of kids that get the power from an alien to turn into different animals. So you can imagine how awesome book 3 would have been for me. Um, and then I also really liked the Quidditch scenes, um, especially when he got his firebolt. I thought that was so awesome. I just reread the chapters over and over. And then, but I do remember reading, I think, book 4 more avidly or just more frequently. Because, yeah, the same reasons, like, the introduction of dragons, which I was really into, and, just other wizards from different, countries. I just thought that was, so cool. And then we finally get to see Voldemort.
How about yourself, Raquel?
Sorry, I keep talking over you. So I think as I was reading growing up, I just read them not back to back, but quite a lot, like at least 3 times a year. So they kind of like all merge into one. I feel like from when I was a kid, so I can't really think of something that stands out as my favorite, but I think it was probably either 4 or 5, just because they were, I don't know, they were exciting and things were starting to happen wider than just Hogwarts, and the world was really starting to expand. But now I'd say my favorite is probably Prisoner of Azkaban, just because it's the most Marauder-centric book, I guess. And it tells us so much about the past, and I love it.
And I'm in a bit of a quandary because my favourites would be, well, technically half the series, 3, 4, and 5 would be the ones I'd pick out of my favourites. All for different reasons, much like you've already covered.
Pick one.
No.
I'm
Fine.
surprised none of us have talked about book 7 or 6 because I thought those would be more popular choices.
You know what? Now, like, as I'm older, I really appreciate book 6, just because I am an unabashed fan of Henny. Harry.
I love Henny.
Yeah.
Yes, Henny.
And I've never understood like, if you read the books, like, I've never understood, like, it doesn't at all prop up the idea of Harry and Hermione ever being together. It's like, yeah. But yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, not just that.
Especially movie Ginny is very much weaker than book Ginny, but even then, personally, I don't think there was all that much there, but I'm not, I'm not like, oh my god, it's impossible, they shouldn't ever be together.
Yeah, but yeah, book 6 I just appreciate a lot more now. And there's some like really key scenes that kind of explain a lot of gripes that people have with the series. Namely like Harry being raised for slaughter. It's like, no, Dumbledore spends like an entire chapter making sure he understands.
See, I'm one of the people who, in those books with that revelation, started to actually hate Dumbledore.
Yeah, we'll get into that. But yeah, I find book 6 hilarious too. Like it actually makes me laugh so hard.
The sixth movie makes me laugh so hard. I must admit, I haven't. I think I've read the book one, like in the past 2 years, and none of the others because I just have other books to read, and then I just always get swamped by the books. But I think like the thing with book 6 when I was growing up is that it's not necessarily filler, but it was J.K. Rowling was setting things up for the final book, so I feel like it's just slightly less of a fantasy adventure book for child Raquel to enjoy, which is why I didn't pick it as a favorite when I was a kid, if that makes sense.
I get that. I think it's also the book where Harry is the most like James. So it's kind of like we kind of get to see, what James would have been like, and like we get more about him as a person. I feel like through Harry, but yeah,
For sure. So that's pretty solid. Like I actually
Book
don't
6
remember
is
most of book
definitely
6.
the best in terms of movie-wise for that one scene that actually wasn't in the books. The whole liquid look and how Daniel Radcliffe played it, that's got to be about the best part of that.
That's pretty cool. Third question I wanted to ask you guys was, what is the most obsessive or geekiest thing you've done as part of the Harry Potter fandom? What has been like the one unique thing that you don't think many other Harry Potter fans would have done? I'll start with myself. I recently went on a trip to Europe, and the first day that we flew into London, the day after, we went to my girlfriend and I went to the Harry Potter studio tour in Leavesden, just north of London, and we pretty much spent the whole day just hanging out, looking at all the props, the sets, like all from like the actual movies, all the concept art. I have a whole bunch of pictures, so I'm thinking of maybe like putting some of them up on the YouTube channel, or like maybe intersplicing them with our discussion here.
very nice, very nice. I've always wanted to go to Leavesden. Well, not always, but for a long time now that I realize how many amazing movies were probably filmed there. But yeah, that's really cool. For me, I don't know. Let's come back to me. I'm still thinking. I can't.
Okay, so I've also been to Leavesden. This isn't what I was going to say, but when I went to Leavesden, firstly, the props bit and all the like concept art and it's so amazing. If you can afford to go because it's mind blowing. But when I went, I stood outside the Potter house and cried. But that's not even what I was going to say. So I'm a massive Jilly shipper. And there was this one Jilly fanfiction that I read back in the day, and it was like a diary kind of thing, and I bought a wig and started filming it as a vlog to put on the internet. And I only did 4 episodes because I kind of hated myself for doing it. But I'd say that's probably a very, very weird thing that a Harry Potter fan would do. So yeah, that's my answer. Make of that what you will.
First off, Rickle, links please.
Oh no, I removed those videos from the internet, Rayven.
Alright.
Sorry.
And for me, I'm not really a big merch fan, and I'm not like a big geeky out person. So the most I could probably say, the geekiest thing I've done, is joined a Harry Potter themed Hogwarts Discord server, which is where I met Manta and Rickle, and the reason why I'm here.
That's a good one. Yeah. For me, well, I just bought Sirius and James's wands just last month. So yeah, that's like one of the first things that I've ever bought of Harry Potter merch. But I also tend to do this. I'm really into movies, and if you've been listening to the CBM voice chat, you'll know I'm definitely obviously into movies, but something I've always done as like a kid is whenever I'm reading something like a comic book or I get really into like X-Men or something, I'll start to paint a movie or film a movie in my head. And that's kind of the same thing that I've done for Harry Potter is I've started to think of like a movie that could be made. And I started writing down character names and different concepts. But yeah, that's probably the geekiest thing that I have done for the series.
That's pretty cool. I've got one more question for you guys. Then I don't know if you guys want to ask each of us anything else, but there's also a website that has kind of been kind of the home for a lot of Harry Potter nerds, especially since it's kind of official and has special exclusive content from J.K. Rowling, and that's Pottermore. And one of the things that you can do in Pottermore is that you can complete a series of tests or quizzes, essentially, and you'll be able to find out three things: the Hogwarts house that you were meant to belong to, your Patronus, Patronus being a spirit animal that you can essentially conjure. What was it as like a? Is it like a distillation of your personal nature, or is it supposed to be like some sort of like lights, essentially?
It's supposed to, well, if you get the full form, it's supposed to be a representation of yourself, but then there's the lesser form, which is just mist.
Hmm. And your wand that you would have received at the Ollivander's wand shop. I'll start first. My Hogwarts house, and this might be a little bit of a shock to you guys, but not really. I got Hufflepuff.
Nice.
Oh, that's so cute.
I
love Hufflepuff.
I've always been kind of like a Hufflepuff person in terms of just like, I guess kind of just being pretty, not necessarily normal, but always trying to like do good things, trying to help out, always being like a negotiator with all my friends and everything. So I was like, oh, I guess that makes sense. My Patronus is Wolf, so Wolf is pretty cool. And my wand is a hawthorn wood with unicorn hair, 10 3/4 inch.
Oh wow.
So
Wait, what's Draco Malfoy's is a Hawthorne? Is it unicorn or is it dragon string?
I think it's dragon string.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say you got like a really close one to Draco.
for sure, but yeah, that's my wand. How about yours, Manta?
So I'm a Gryffindor, which was a little bit surprising because, I've always thought Gryffindor was cool because, lion and it's one of my favorite animals. But yeah, I was convinced that I was a Hufflepuff for a while, and then I took my test and actually got Gryffindor. But as I read, that was like right before I started rereading the books for the first time in like over 10 years, and I realized that the Sorting Hat says that, it's not just about who you are, but it's who you want to be. So that kind of made sense. My Patronus is also a wolf.
Ooh, okay.
So this is one that... So, okay, just to be completely honest, the one that I got on Pottermore was a dolphin. But that made no sense. And unlike my wand in my house... it didn't eventually make sense. It just continued to piss me off. So I ended up taking several more tests, and then I created a false account, and I went through and I actually got a wolf that time, so that's the one I've stuck with. The wolf has always been my favorite animal as well. And I like dogs more than people, so it just made more sense to me. And my wand is spruce wood with a unicorn hair core, 11 inches, and surprisingly squishy flexibility.
Very cool, very cool. How about yourself, Raquel?
First, I just want to confirm after a quick Google that Draco's original wand is 10-inch hawthorn unicorn hair. So it's very similar, Neo.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
You're basically Draco Malfoy, but Hufflepuff. Like Manta, I'm also a Gryffindor. I think this is because I do things before I think about them. And also, like, I don't know. And Hang on, let me just double check what my Pottermore says. I had to open Pottermore to find this out.
No worries.
My wand is applewood. Wait, oh no, I do this thing because my push to talk is the alt button, and then I always scroll down with the scroll pad, and then it refreshes the page. So please cut that out, thanks.
We're not cutting that out.
Okay, my wand is applewood with a dragon heartstring core. It's 12.5 inches, and it has a supple flexibility. I don't know what any of those things mean, because I didn't study wand lore.
Click on it.
But then I'd have to read loads of text, and I don't want to do that. And my Patronus is a wild rabbit, which is really lame. Let's be honest.
That suits you.
That's cool, though. It's pretty neat.
Not a lame way, just it suits you as like a person, like a personality-wise. You're very rabbity, I would suppose you could say.
I don't even know how to take that.
It's a compliment. Who doesn't like rabbits?
Yeah, and your big floppy ears are fantastic.
So,
As for yourself, Rave, yeah.
Yeah, as some of you may know in here, well, first of all, I must say I never actually did them on Pottermore. I did because I didn't feel like registering, because I wasn't all that into it. But I did, quick online ones based on the Pottermore ones. So for my house, I am mostly Ravenclaw with some Slytherin. I think it was like 55-45. And for my Patronus, it was a stag. But I never ended up doing my wand. Just because I am into Harry Potter, but not that much that I really want to know what my wand is.
I find it very informative, though. So I am going to ask that we just give like a short version of what the wand wood means, because I've gone through and read all of them, so I know that at some point I knew what applewood was, but I'm really curious to know what it says about that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll start. Hawthorne apparently is supposed to be a strange, contradictory wand, as full of paradoxes as the tree that gave it birth, whose leaves and blossoms heal, yet whose cut branches smell of death, which apparently they're like good for healing magic, but they're also adept at curses. Essentially, that's what the text says here for the wood.
Paradox indeed. That's pretty cool. For spruce, apparently it's a very difficult wood to work into a wand. It says it's ill-matched with cautious or nervous natures and become positively dangerous in fumbling fingers. They require a firm hand because the wand often has its own ideas about what kind of magic it's supposed to use. However, when a spruce wand meets its match, which in my experience is a bold spellcaster with a good sense of humor, it becomes a superb helper, intensely loyal to their owners, and capable of producing particularly flamboyant and dramatic effects.
Applewood wands, I'm just going to completely transcribe what it says on Pottermore. Applewood wands are not made in great numbers. They are powerful and best suited to an owner of high aims and ideals, as this wood mixes poorly with dark magic. It is said that the possessor of an apple wand will be well loved and long lived, and I have often noticed that customers of great personal charm find their perfect match in an applewood wand. An unusual ability to converse with other magical beings in their native tongues is often found among apple wand owners.
That's really cool. Ray, you should get a wand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ray.
No.
Yeah.
Do the test.
I'm not registering on Pottermore.
Boo.
No worries. I mean, we all have our different degrees of like how we're willing to interact with like these sites, right? Because they're essentially just glorified personality tests, and they're pretty fun just to try.
Yeah, I just couldn't be bothered. If you didn't have to sign up, I'd do it. But it's just the whole sign up. I just couldn't be bothered.
But if you were to say personally, Raven, what house would you like to be part of, or which house do you think, personality-wise, you think you would probably be best?
I mean, I already did my house, and I said Ravenclaw.
Okay. just not the wand.
Ravenclaw with Slytherin tendencies, which actually fits me really well.
Do you?
I'm trying to think of like.
So, do you guys know what your Patronuses mean? Or
No, it doesn't. It doesn't really have any kind of like mention of what the animal is supposed to represent. Because isn't it more of like
Oh.
a, or
Yeah,
does it?
it's more an embodiment of you than, an embodiment of.
I did kind of find something. It's not very much. It just says, for wolves, they have like a darker and more mysterious soul with the strength of a fighter. They have an innate aptitude for combat and a strong sense of justice. I'm just happy. I'm just happy we're doing this right now.
Yeah, exactly. No,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. I'll definitely ask you guys a couple of more questions because I wanted to kind of get the audience to kind of know us a little bit better. We come from all different backgrounds. We all have our different like degrees of love with the franchise. I do want to ask, has there been any like merchandise or things from the Harry Potter franchise that you kind of treasure or that you think is really unique that no one else has bought, or that is maybe a special printing of a book that you don't think anybody else would have? Yeah, I'll start. I have one wand. I got it from Orlando when I went to the Wizarding World at Universal Studios, and the wand I ended up picking, and this might be a surprise because there were a lot of different characters I could have chosen, but the one wand that I really liked and I thought was really cool was Bellatrix Lestrange's wand. It's nice and curved. It's very pointy.
Bellatrix?
Yeah.
Is that what you said, Bellatrix?
Bellatrix, yeah.
Huh. That is very surprising.
It's a neat one. I actually have it here in my room, and it's got the whole box and everything. It's super expensive though, because I think at the time it was like 50 American, and I still think that's kind of a bit of
It's a
a
little
very
bit of a
high
shout.
price. Yeah, but that's apparently normal price because when I went to Leavesden, it was actually more expensive. It was like the equivalent of, I think it was like £30, which would have converted to even more to be more expensive in American dollars.
Yeah, because I got Sirius's wand for about, I want to say it was 45 or 35 on just off of Amazon, but it's from the official. It's like an officially made one. And then I got James's wand at FanX in Salt Lake City just last month. And I think that one I got for about $15, but it's still one of the officially made wands. I don't know why they were selling them cheaper, but
Well, that's cool. Yeah. Oh,
maybe
yeah.
just
There were
because,
good
like,
deals
they were
like
selling
that.
them they were selling like all these wands like a massive, like they have a massive volume of every character's wand. So I'm sure they were making more than enough money. But yeah, it's for me. I think Sirius's wand felt. I really liked that wand just because of the symbols. I think they're Nordic symbols as well. But I've always loved that design. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Sirius is the one that my girlfriend bought for her brother because he liked that character the most. So she bought like 4 wands at Orlando, so she kept 2 for herself and then she gave 2 to other people.
Dang.
It's pretty crazy. I know. It's like,
I
why
think
do we need
Newt's
that many?
wand is the next one I'm gonna buy.
Does that one
Yeah,
look
I think-
nice? I haven't seen pictures of it.
While you guys are talking, I'll find one and post it in the Discord.
Yeah, Sirius's wand is sort of Norse inspired with the engravings, but those are actually, Norse runes. Although there's 1 or 2 Norse runes, but the rest of it is just shapes.
Yeah, I mean, because I recognize some of the runes, but then the other ones are just like that doesn't look like it does with everything else.
What I really love about Sirius's wand, because I have it too, I bought it when I went to Leavesden, as well as the map and the time turner. I love that it's square at one end and then it just tapers into a round,
Yeah.
not square. Gosh,
Like-
words are hard.
It swirls. It kind of swirls.
Yeah. But yeah, as opposed to other, well, no. I'm very bad at speaking, which is what everyone needs in a podcast. But my friend who I met online in the Harry Potter Discord server that Rayven referenced earlier, she sent me James's one for Christmas last year, because it's very difficult to find in the UK. And also, one last thing about merch. I say accidentally, I didn't do it accidentally. It's, I guess, just more idiotically, I bought the deluxe illustrated edition of Philosopher's Stone when it came out. And now I've just, I've had to commit, because I like sets. So every time a new one has come out, which is only up to the third one so far, I've had to buy one of those. But it's over £100 for a book. And it's not viable as a purchase, and yet here I am committed to it. But they're so pretty, and yeah, so that's something I've bought that probably not a lot of people have bought, because it was a book for £100. So there you go.
I was really tempted to buy the I think it's what you're talking about, but it was for Prisoner of Azkaban. It was the illustrated version. I really want to buy all of those though at some point.
Yeah, the illustrated versions, those are beautiful.
I'm not a huge fan of the depictions of the characters, like the interpretations that the artist had for them. I think Harry looks kind of like an insect, at least in the first one. But as you can see from my profile picture, that's what I imagine older Harry. I think that's the most accurate I've seen of a 38-year-old Harry Potter. But for me, I haven't bought too much. I guess the sheer volume of books that I've bought of the Harry Potter series, because I found that the third book tends to fall apart a lot. And it's always on the same pages as well. The same pages fall out. The spine falls off of the cover, falls off of it. So at this point I've bought 5 Prisoner of Azkabans, 2 Order of the Phoenixes, and I've bought as a family we've bought the entire series probably 6 times.
How big is your family?
8 people in my family.
Okay, that's reasonable then.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going to say, if you only have a small family, that's quite a lot of books. Well, quite a lot of iterations of Harry Potter to buy.
Yeah, but how many did you guys ever get your 15th I think the 15th anniversary books with the house covers for the Philosopher's Stone?
I think you mean 20th Manta, but okay.
Whatever. It makes me feel younger.
Have they just come out recently? I'm trying to think of
2 years
most
ago.
Most recent editions I've seen. Yeah, I've seen the illustrated versions of the books, but there were also, I think when I was at Leavesden, they had these specially embossed versions. They had illustrations from a comic artist that I really liked. I think his name is Kazu Kibishi, and they had some pretty cool covers there, but I don't know what they look. Oh yeah, it was a box set, and
I've just looked up that artist, and those covers are nice.
Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, those are pretty nice. I really like that. I also like the ones that they have on Pottermore. For the books, those covers. It's the digital. It's the digital covers. There, it's especially the Goblet of Fire. I really like that one, as well as Prisoner of Azkaban and Order of the Phoenix.
oh, okay, yeah, I see what you guys are talking about with the house emblem on them, and the cover color itself is the color of the house. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look pretty nice. I still like my Raincoast publications. I think those are the originals in hardcovers. They've always got some great illustrations. Yeah, the very, very first printings. It's from a publisher called Raincoast.
Is that the one with the archway for Philosopher's Stone?
Yeah.
Oh
no, not the... Do you guys not get them?
Aren't the original ones, at least that I know of.
Okay. Yeah, those are the ones I grew up and have the collection of. But no, the Philosopher's Stone has the picture of the Hogwarts Express There's like a very cartoony looking Harry Potter
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
in the front.
The one where it looks like Harry Potter's about to get run over by the Hogwarts Express.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, oh my.
Like, get off the tracks.
I'm trying to find mine. It's the
Oh yeah, isn't the original with a depiction of Dumbledore or somebody on the back? The
It's
one
like-
with the train. And
Yeah.
so I think there's two of those where one, it's got the Hogwarts Express and nothing on the back, and the earlier one has the Hogwarts Express and a picture of assumedly Dumbledore on the.
Assumedly. The ones I'm thinking about are the ones where, like, for Sorcerer's Stone, it's Harry catching a snitch under an archway with Fluffy and the unicorn in the background.
Yeah, but that's Sorcerer's Stone. That shouldn't count.
Yeah, that's the wrong one.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a Sorcerer's Stone.
I do admit that I really like the Philosopher's Stone. Holy crap! I just found these leather-bound books for like $213. Like the entire series is $1,046.
Oh, whoa.
But they are so beautiful. Oh my gosh. It's the UK collection leather-bound ones.
Okay.
Is it ones with like the how different symbols on the front?
I don't think so. Like I see one with Dobby on it. It looks really gross. That's like the only ugly one. But there's one.
Oh, the ones that have like a little like memento on the front, like little lightning bolts.
Let me.
They do look nice though. They're like
The one I'm
encyclopedias.
looking at has a vegan leather. The one like for the first one, Philosopher's Stone has I think just like an owl with a letter in its mouth flying across the cover.
Oh yeah, those do look pretty cool. With they're
The
almost
Dobby
like
one is
diaries.
horrendous, but-
Yeah.
Yeah, and that one is the picture I've showed. It's actually the Horcruxes. It took me a second to realise.
Oh yeah.
For Deathly Hallows, yeah. That's pretty cool. So I think that will probably be a good way to wrap up our second episode of, as I like to affectionately call it, Fantastic Chats. Do you guys have any other suggestions for names of the podcast? Is there any ones that kind of like you'd always wanted to kind of name a podcast after?
I don't know, I think Fantastic Chats kind of fits, and it's not too copyright infringing.
Yeah, it's a good name.
Okay. Yeah, well, we'll keep it for now. So, is there anything else that you guys wanted to say or that you wanted to mention about yourselves or the fandom in general that you wanted to mention before we close off for tonight?
Do we have a favorite character?
Ooh,
I mean, I feel like that's
a good
pretty
question.
basic
Yeah.
question, but it's essential.
Oh, I'll probably need some time to think. No, it's
Yeah.
Snape.
Snape.
Of course, it's Snape.
Mm,
Of course, he is. I don't know. I liked him since
He's a
the
good
beginning.
character. He's
Yeah,
a well-written character.
he's a very well written character.
Terrible person, not good character.
Exactly. Like I have no idea if I would ever like relate to Snape. I just feel like in terms of character arcs, he has such an interesting and dynamic backstory and motivation that he kind of makes the series for me in a lot of ways. But that's just my personal opinion. I don't know. What about you, man?
I'm sending you Snape smut from Tumblr. James Potter, of course.
You're like enemies.
Yeah, right. But yeah, I find James Potter to be kind of like the ideal of like, I mean, not like teenage James Potter. I also think he gets like a very, very unfair characterization by the fandom as well as some of the writers on Pottermore. If you read his Pottermore profile, it's not good at all. I think he's a lot better than people tend to think he was. And he's the kind of person that I would aspire to be, is just with the way he treats his friends, which is absolute loyalty. The way
In
that
a way, he's kind of the opposite to Snape, because over time, Snape got more and more bitter, whereas James, over time, he got more and more better.
Yeah, yeah. Like even as a kid, you see him as a character, like as a child, and he's very accepting of people unless they cross him. Um, but he's just the kind of character that I would aspire to be, I guess, without the arrogance.
How about yourself, Raquel? Do you have a favorite that comes into mind?
Um, so
Go ahead, say it.
you don't know what I'm going to say.
I do.
So my staple answer for this is that I really like James and Lily. They're probably my favorite characters, but I feel like a lot of that is ex- more about the fandom interpretation of them. Not that like in the books obviously they're amazing and I love them and I love reading about them in the books, but I feel like a lot of my love for them comes from all of the content that I consume in fandom. So I feel like strictly from the books I have to say Ginny because she's so badass and I don't know, she's at the age of 11 she gets possessed by Voldemort and then she just grows up into this wonderful, wonderful young woman who her boyfriend and her brother and one of her closest friends all leave her in year 7 when she's 16 years old. And then she, with the help of Luna and Neville, of course, like she just keeps the rebellion going inside of Hogwarts and she doesn't stand for the atrocities that Snape and his Death Eater staff are trying to commit. And I just love her. Anything is possible if you have enough nerve. That's like a goal to live by. But also James and Lily own my soul, so obviously, I'm with Manta on this one. But yeah, books-wise, probably Ginny.
Yeah, I mean that's a really good one. That's something that I've realized recently was like someone posted about Ginny, but kind of compared her to 15-year-old Harry who's freaking out as he's being possessed by Voldemort. And obviously, Ginny didn't take it very well during that time, but afterwards, she's like super well adjusted for having shared her soul with, a sociopath.
But I feel like probably a bit of that. I mean, I don't know, but obviously Ginny is possessed by 16-year-old Voldemort, and I'm not saying that 16-year-old Voldemort is a good dude, but he's probably less intense than adult Voldemort that possesses Harry.
Yeah, I mean,
if that makes sense.
The way that he possessed Ginny was, sort of slow, subtle, all the time kind of thing.
Yeah, whereas with Harry it was much more aggressive.
Yeah, but let's not forget that he'd already killed 1 or 2 people at that point.
I'm not saying he was a good dude, Manta. I'm just
I'm just kidding.
I feel like he was more manipulative with Ginny. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
like,
he
got her on his side and then possessed her. If that makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah, he was. It was very nice. Like he was like her friend, like a very close confidant to her.
And my favourite, and it's not a guess for Rickle, Luna, just Luna, all the time, every day.
I get that.
Oh yeah.
Because I just love how much she just doesn't care, and how open her mind is.
Yeah, we could
And
use.
especially in the films, things are serious when Luna shouts at you.
That's
Yeah,
true.
I think
Yeah.
we could all use, as a society, use her dose of honesty and transparency.
And other than Luna, it's probably Tonks. Because, she's a bit of a peer to Harry, but, she's a lot more fun-loving and a lot more cheery than a lot of other.
Good deal. So I guess going forward, we're going to be doing a chapter a week from the books. Y'all remember?
Yep.
So over this next week, we're going to be reading just the first chapter of Harry Potter. It's not a big one, but it's super.
It's a good one.
It's a good one. It is.
Sets up the whole franchise as a whole, really. Sounds good, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining me here at this episode of Fantastic Chats. Thank you so much, Black Manta.
Yeah, thank you. As always.
Thank you so much, Raquel, for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. Also,
And-
sorry that my voice is so irritating.
No,
It's
not at all.
irritating.
Not at all.
Stop it.
It's fine. And thank you so much, Rayven, for joining us as well.
Yep, thanks for having me back. And finally, Rickle made it. Hooray! Another Brit, I'm not outnumbered anymore.
Yes.
Exactly. So, well, take care, guys. Next week we'll reconvene to do a chapter of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Chapter 1. Philosopher's Stone. Alrighty, take care, guys, and see you guys next week.
Yeah. Have a good day.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
Ship managed, I guess.